Check out thechosenprime.com in the link in the description below for this and other great items.
Welcome everyone to another Radio Free Cybertron review. I'm your host Diecast, and today we have the Warbotron WB01-F X-ray set, which also comes with a gun for Bruticus. There we have his gun. So this set is $28.99. And you have to build, well, this isn't that tough to build. This is a little bit of a build. I do have a separate video, which I will link in the description below, that goes over how to, little tips and tricks guide, if you want to go ahead and pick this figure up and build him. He is a really nice quality once you get him built. Everything is tight. He has ball joints up at the shoulders. He has a little bit of up and down movement due to rotation and transformation. His arms can do a full 360. He has a bend at the elbow, so he can go about almost 90 degrees. And he has an outward bend right above the elbow also. His gun can rotate just due to rotation. His hand can go in just due to transformation also. Full 360 there. His head is on a ball joint, and my head is tight. I know someone else had a problem with theirs and they couldn't get theirs tight. And I think what that might be is some little bit of mold flashing. Just have to make sure that that's level all the way around the head. And then he does have this joint which moves up and down, so you can put his head in a little bit higher repose, but that's mostly also due to transformation. Come down to the legs, he has a full waist swivel, and then a full rotation at the upper thigh, which is another part that a lot of people are having trouble with, so I definitely recommend going and watching that tips and tricks video, because that'll help you figure out how to transform this guy. Got 90 degrees at the knee, and his foot bends up and his heel bends up, also due to transformation. No ankle tilts. Yeah, and I think I pretty much, legs are also on a ball joint, so they can go forward, back, out to the side. Really nice figure. I really wanted to not like this set, just because I feel like this should have been included in the Bruticus set. To be perfectly honest, I don't know why it wasn't, but it wasn't. But still, for $28.99, you're getting a pretty decent set with the rifle and Shockwave himself. Let's go ahead, and I'm just going to disassemble the rifle so you can see what you get. You get two long swords in a sheath. You get these two shorter swords, which are also in sheaths, which make up the handle. And you also get this nunchuck, which is cool. Shockwave can hold, he can't hold this. He can't get it actually in his hand, but anything that will peg into his hand, he'll be able to hold. You get these, I'm not even sure what these are supposed to be. They slide up and down, but to me they're just part of the rifle. That's why I'm going to leave it in. And then you get this gun that you can knock your Shockwave over with, or your X-ray. And then in this gun, little machine gun barrel here is, there went one, is 4 smaller knives. And these knives are definitely sharp as I poke my finger into it. But you can see here, this is what I was talking about, that Shockwave can hold anything with that open peg, and you can give him a little knife, which that knife looks good with him, I think. So go ahead and get that out of his arm. Then we'll just go through how you put this thing together. And the weapon's pretty easy. First thing you do is you put these in the top. Yep. That way they're facing like that. Take the sheath. We'll flip this one around. I think this is the other side. There's a tab up front and a tab right there. They'll tab together. And then there's two pegs at the top that'll plug into those handles to hold them in place. So when you get that all tabbed in, and you just come over to the other side and do the same thing with this one. And they tab, everything stays secure just with that. Now, missiles just attach, or whatever these are supposed to be. Then this plugs in right to there. That gives him his sniper rifle. And then the nunchucks just clip on. You can hang the chain up here. This is where the instructions tell you to do it. Or you can kind of go all the way around the back. I like to go all the way around the back just because it kind of holds the chain a little bit tighter. Looks a little bit cleaner. So there you have the rifle. And we'll put that off the side. And at the end of the review, we'll bring in Bruticus. Now to transform your Shockwave, all you have to do is, first we're going to combine the legs. They just tab together. We're going to flip the top of the feet back, flip the bottom of the feet, flip his heels back, and then come up here. You're going to start to lift up the chest, but what you also have to do is kind of tilt the head just to the side, just a little bit. Then once you get past the front of his face, you can turn his head straight again, and that way it allows the whole back to come up. Flip his little missile in, flip his hand in, and then these arms just fold in on themselves, just like so. And what that's going to do is now they're going to peg together, and there's two little nubs on the back of his elbows that plug into the bottom of the figure right there, kind of support the handle a little bit, and that straighten out the legs. And there's two little clips on the side here that if they get bent in all the way, they're pretty close to impossible to get out, which this one looks like it accidentally did. So try and take something just to get that out. Get a tool here real quick. There we go. I usually try and leave those out a little bit. I think that just got bumped in. That holds his leg in place for the gun. And again, it's a pretty decent looking gun. A lot bigger than I expected. Should have probably did a size comparison with him in robot mode. So let's go ahead and transform him back real quick. And we'll just do a quick size comparison. you can see just flipping the feet out, disconnecting the legs, disconnect the arms, rotate this whole centerpiece down. You just rotate the head around to the side to give you the clearance that you need. Then you come in here, flip that out. Flip his hand out. And there you have him back in his robot mode. Just to give you a size comparison, there he is with Masterpiece Bumblebee, which they're very close in height. And here he is with Legends Bombshell. Bombshell is actually not standing up totally straight, but just for a size comparison, I think they work really well together. To give you an idea of size, get Bumblebee out of the way. And before we bring Bruticus in for his transformation, just go over what this comes with. Because this is a kit and you have to build this yourself, it comes with a Warbotron screwdriver. These are the 2 extra baggies of screws that came in the box. The 1 baggie of screws is used to build the set. This is the box it comes in. Just a plain box. And open this up, you'll see the remainder of the sprues. So we'll get that out of the way. And then here are the instructions, which, you know, they're kind of plain, but I really like this picture on the back here of X-Ray. Looks really good. The instructions, they don't tell you where to put the screws, but if you watch my tips and tricks video, that should be able to help you out through that process. So let's go ahead and bring in Bruticus. And I'm probably going to have to back up the camera just to get him in here. And once you get him standing, he is pretty sturdy. It's just getting him to that point. So let's see. There's Bruticus, the Warbotron Bruticus. And mine kind of always leans to Swindle's side. But I guess if I do a wider stance with him, that will kind of alleviate that. But he is always leaning to that one side, at least on mine. You can see the rifle that, this is the rifle that Warbotron comes with, Bruticus comes with. And then this is the rifle that we just built with the kit. And there's a plug on the inside of his hand, and they plug in. Kind of have to make sure the fingers aren't out too far, otherwise you won't be able to curl it around. But it plugs in very nice, very secure. And it looks good. It looks really good with him. I almost like it better than the one it comes with, just because it's in brown and this is in gray and silver as opposed to brown and silver. So I definitely like it. So let's go ahead and just try and plug Shockwave into his hand. And the same thing, he just has the peg on the side of the handle there. You just come around and plug that into Warbotron's hand. Get its thumb out of the way. And there you go. He can't really wrap his fingers around it just because of how thick his legs are, but he can hold it secure. That way, if you want to give your Bruticus the shockwave. That way, if you want to give your Bruticus the shockwave, you can. The gun looks really nice. Just actually almost looks a little bit small for him compared to the rifle that he had, you know, that comes with the set. So I think shockwave is nice enough that, or X-ray is nice enough that I'm just going to leave him off to the side by himself. But yeah. And now there is one more thing that I wanted to show you guys right before we end the video. And that is the little accessory piece that comes with Swindle, or comes with the set for Swindle, so he can put his missile on the shoulder. And we're back with the little tiny piece that Warbotron should have included with their Fierce Attack, or with any of their other figures, because it is just this little tiny piece of plastic for Swindle. And there's just no real reason why they couldn't include this. It bothers me that you have to buy an accessory kit in order to get this. And what this does is it just plugs right on his shoulder. Probably would help to peg it in first. That pegs in, I believe, right there. And right there to give him his shoulder cannon, which was in the original photos of this figure, so it's not like it's an accessory they made later on. It was something that got dropped from the original for whatever reason, and instead of including that little tiny piece in one of the future releases of Warbotron, they just threw it in the accessory kit, which, I mean, it's a nice piece, and if you're just going to display your Swindle like this, I'm sure it's almost a must-have, but for everyone who bought the full kit, you're probably going to display Warbotron in his Bruticus mode anyway, so it's kind of a waste at this point, because we're not going to use this piece, but the people who just bought a single Swindle would. So it might even be worth, if you just bought a single Swindle, to pick up this Warbotron kit for $28 to get this to display your Swindle. And you'll get the little shockwave gun, and yeah, that'll be it. You can kind of have him hold this if you want to. So that way, if you want to give him a ridiculously big weapon, you know, it is possible. And there is some charm about Swindle that really makes him worth picking up even as a standalone figure. Not even sure if you can still pick him up as a standalone figure, but even if you're not going in on the full Warbotron set, I'd recommend picking up Swindle because he's just really nice. And I'm kind of getting sidetracked away from the kit here, but I just wanted to show you, you know, this little extra piece that should have been included. I'm not sure if there's any way to really store this in vehicle mode. I'm sure you can plug it into his feet. That way it kind of, in vehicle mode, it has somewhere to go. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure if you want to pick up this extra Warbotron kit, check out thechosenprime.com in the link in the description below to go ahead and pick this guy up. And like I said, I really recommend it. If you don't mind building your Transformers, to see this in robot mode, it's a really nice shockwave. So could have used a little bit more paint apps, but it's on a sprue kit, so I guess that's to be expected. And thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.